showing you how to make perfect biscuits 3 different ways. I'm showing you all my tips and tricks for super flaky, buttery biscuits that you can customize with tons of different flavor ideas, but I'm showing you my 3 favorite special flavors. My name is Tessa and I'm from handletheheat.com, where I love to share sweet treats with a sprinkling of baking science. And before we hop into these perfect biscuits, be sure to hit that little bell icon near the subscribe button to get notified each and every week when I post a new baking video. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. We're starting with the biscuit batter, the dough. I have my dry ingredients right here. In this bowl of all-purpose flour, I'm going to add in baking powder. Baking powder is absolutely essential to perfect biscuits that rise up nice and fluffy and light. I'm also going to add baking soda, just a little bit of granulated sugar. Now you can leave this out if you prefer to make biscuits without any sugar, and some fine salt. I'm just going to give that a quick whisk, and all of the full ingredient measurements can be found in the description box below this video. Next up, I'm adding in cubes of cold, unsalted butter. You really want to be sure to use cold butter because it's going to melt as it bakes in the oven, and that steam that's created will rise the biscuits into those flaky layers. Now, to mix the cold butter into my dry ingredient mixture, I'm just using a pastry blender. This one's a bladed one from OXO. You could also do this in the food processor if you'd prefer. I think doing it by hand is a little bit easier, and you can really get a feel for the size of butter. You want them to be large chunks still. You don't want them to be too finely processed into the mixture, otherwise you won't really end up with those flaky layers we want. So just use a little bit of elbow grease, and you want to get those butter pieces just kind of chopped into the flour mixture. Okay, so my butter is all mixed into my flour. This is kind of the size of chunks of butter you're looking to get. You don't want to overmix it. The next ingredient is super important, and that's buttermilk. So I'm just going to pour in low-fat buttermilk and start to mix this up. Now you want to be sure to use real buttermilk. It truly does make a difference. The DIY substitutions just don't cut it here. I actually have a whole post detailing the science of buttermilk and comparing side by side buttermilk versus DIY substitutions, so you can really see what a difference real buttermilk makes. I also have a video on how to freeze buttermilk so that you can have it on hand anytime that you need it for baking recipes. Now, as I mix this, I want to be sure not to over mix it. You want to mix it just until it's barely combined. If there's still pockets of flour remaining, that's actually okay, because the more you mix biscuit dough, the tougher and more dense the biscuit becomes. You want to barely mix it so that you get really nice, fluffy, flaky, light biscuits. So I'm actually taking a portion of this dough and I'm going to make our first flavor variation, which is one of my favorites. We're making everything biscuits. Everything bagel biscuits could not be simpler to make. I just went to Trader Joe's and got the pre-made everything seasoning, but you could totally DIY it. I'll list down below what you'll need to do that. I'm just adding this straight into the dough. I'm saving a little bit to sprinkle on top when the biscuits are formed. And then just gently mix that in. To make this super simple, I'm just going to drop the biscuit dough with a cookie scoop down onto my baking sheet. You could roll it out and shape it, and we'll do that for the last biscuit variation. But to make things really quick and simple, this is one of the little shortcuts you can do. Okay, my biscuit dough is all shaped. This batch is ready for a 450-degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes, or until they're as golden as you prefer them. My everything bagel biscuits, they look and smell amazing. The entire house smells like a bagel shop now. I love these ones specifically because you can actually make really delicious breakfast sandwiches with this biscuit as a base. They smell so good. Golden brown on the outside, fluffy and tender on the inside. I'm just gonna take a little bite. You could even spread some cream cheese on that. So delicious. So now that we're done with these ones, let's go ahead and move on to the next biscuit. So flavor number 2 is pizza biscuits. This time I'm using the rest of the dough and I'm going to scoop it into a jumbo muffin tin that I've greased. Now, once you scoop the dough in, you're actually going to top it with pizza toppings. And you can have fun here and do whatever you want. I'm just doing the basics of pizza sauce, a little bit of oregano, little mini pepperonis, and of course mozzarella cheese. My pizza biscuits are all topped. They're ready to go to the oven to bake. Okay, so my pizza biscuits are out of the oven. It smells so good. They look absolutely amazing. I love how the cheese gets kind of crusted and caramelized on the edges. So I'm just going to take a quick little bite. So good. I think this would make a perfect afternoon snack. Or you can even make them into smaller biscuits and serve them at a birthday party or as an appetizer. They're great football food, absolutely delicious. So let's go ahead and move on to the final biscuit flavor. So for the third and final biscuit, we're making churro biscuits. Now, this is a sweet dessert biscuit, so our base is going to change just a little bit. I'm just going to reduce the amount of salt and increase the amount of sugar in my biscuit dough. For these churro biscuits, instead of scooping and dropping the dough like I did with the other ones, the everything biscuits, I'm actually going to shape them using a circle cookie cutter so they look nice and perfect and pretty. So on my work surface, I'm just going to add some flour, because we don't want them to stick everywhere, and then scoop the dough out onto my work surface. And then I'm just going to use my hand, super simple. You might need to add some more flour to the top of the biscuit dough, and just pat this out into about a 3/4 inch thickness. Pop the cookie cutter straight down and lift it straight back up without twisting it. If you twist it, you could actually lower the chance of the biscuit rising nice and tall and having perfect edges. So just down and out. And then once you've cut out all of your shapes, go ahead and gently re-roll the scraps to cut out the last remaining shapes. All my biscuit dough is shaped into perfect little circles now, so I'm just going to place them on this parchment-lined baking sheet. And next up, I'm going to brush melted butter on the biscuits, and this will act as the edible glue for the cinnamon sugar that's going to add that churro flavor. So then I'll just sprinkle the cinnamon sugar over the melted butter on these biscuits, and don't be afraid to be generous here. And once all my biscuits are topped with the cinnamon sugar and melted butter, they're ready to go in the oven. All of the ingredients and measurements with each flavor variation directions are listed down below. But if you want the printable biscuit recipe with even more flavor customization ideas and directions, then just head on over to handletheheat.com/biscuit and you can download my free ultimate biscuit guide. The churro biscuits are out of the oven. I cannot wait to take a bite. It smells like a combination of IKEA and Disneyland in here. They're light and fluffy on the inside, but have that crisp cinnamon sugar on the outside. So good. You could even drizzle melted chocolate or dulce de leche or Nutella over these to really take them to a whole new level. So those are Perfect Biscuits 3 different ways. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite flavor of biscuit is. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you in another video soon.